Hello, Flat Earth researchers, debaters and debunkers. Just wanted to catch up on this Sunday evening in a very wet Phuket. Hope you're doing well. And I'm just checking if this is all working, so if anyone's there, you can just pop something into the chat. Mikey Smith, horizontally opposed. Hello there, sir. Have you been out? Sound low? Okay, just a minute. How's that? Is that better? Oh shit, probably too much. Hello, Al. How you doing, man? Long time no see. Yeah, it's just if you're online at all, you probably spend some of it watching YouTube and Twitter or X. Maybe you've got a favorite newspaper you might go to. You talk to other people, and of course their mood is reflected by all the news that they're hearing and seeing, actually on X, for example, you get a lot of political stuff. There's, the whole thing about the Kamala and Biden and the whole presidential race there. A lot of negative stuff from the UK. But, you got to remember this is all theatrics, yeah? There isn't going to be a World War III. There isn't going to be, mass poverty. These are all just things that get kind of put up there, and so it gets people riled up, and they start debating it, and then it would then appear when the government backs down from some of these things they say they plan to do. You feel like there's some people power there, yeah, where really they had no intention of doing that in the first place. Yeah. What? Thanks, Al. Yes, doing well, thank you. Growing a beard just happens, after a few weeks of just being heavily involved in work and family and stuff. Tony Dixon, hello. What's Mikey Smith? I am the only one with real videos of stars. People have been taking lots of vids of stars, mate. I haven't seen some of your vids, I think. Yeah, of course, we're all looking at the stars is awe-inspiring, isn't it? Try and get the mic closer, see if that helps with the sound. Alright, that's probably about as loud as I can make it. Let's see how that goes. Yeah. That's the thing, isn't it? We find out these truths. We realize we have been deceived about so many things, and we kind of become free of that. But it's really easy to get dragged back into this belief, or believing in things that we can't ever really know. And personally, I think my mission is always just to try and discern between knowledge and belief. And of course, the more you know, the more you realize that there's so much you don't know, and we believed everything. But it's the main root of all the suffering we experience, and you can imagine the mental anguish that a lot of people are going through just dealing with the stuff they hear on the mainstream news and the alternative sources, because people are still talking about, although there's an alternative point of view, sometimes it's more difficult to find. It's not on the mainstream media. you're given the kind of Hegelian dialect on the mainstream media somewhat, but you've also got this other stuff going on in the alternative media. But the alternative media is still kind of fueling the fire with okay, points of view that might be more agreeable, but still, still keeping that topic alive, as it were, and in the forefronts of our minds. Yeah. So it becomes, whatever kind of news source you're looking at, is still contributing to kind of perpetuating a belief that there are only certain ways you can look at things. Yeah. Okay. Hello, Pendle. Thank you. Al, what you're saying? My wife says, how can everything be a lie? It's like once someone is confirmed liar, you don't start believing them again. Well, that's it, isn't it? I think we instinctively know that, don't we? So you don't want to truly realize that about someone. But then, of course, we realize that everyone lies, because we also lie to ourselves and each other all the time. Even if we think we're telling white lies, we're rarely honest with our own selves, let alone the people around us, right? None of us are truly transparent. So people lie. I mean, that's one thing that you have to accept, isn't it, right? That's one thing you realize in life, but even that is maybe difficult to accept. But it's not everyone. But I saw a really interesting comment or quote. I can't remember who it's by, but it's not the liars that we should be really worried about, because it's the believers in the lies that are the kind of the zombies that will really make a difference, will it really impress, make these liars' beliefs come true, right? So if a liar is just on his own or her own, just spouting their nonsense, yeah, but it's the believers that when they kind of become, they're the more vehement, they are the people maybe sometimes going to the extreme of committing violent acts on their beliefs, yeah? But this, we talk about beliefs as in like religion and things like that, or just believing that the government is benevolent. Yeah, that is a belief. But it's like anything, isn't it? Government is maybe a tool that can be used for good and bad, just like you can use a car as something useful, or you can turn it into a weapon. That's how everything is. It just depends on how we use these things at our disposal, right? Or whether we find ways to govern ourselves. It's always going to be a challenge, because there always are liars out there, and they're always going to be believers. And so then you're always going to have these conflicts of ideas, which is okay. It's great for discussion a lot of the time, but that's the thing. We become so attached and identified with these beliefs that they literally rule our lives. Yeah. So even if we've come down a pathway of waking up to the lies that people tell, we still get caught up in them very, very easily. And that's just on a daily basis, not just the big things, but the little things, your interactions with your friends and your family, right? Your interactions with your own self, yeah? There's a constant thing going on there, because we often suffer from worry, and that's from a belief. You believe something's going to happen in the future, or whatever. These are, you're not in the now, constantly being distracted. So, beliefs, these micro beliefs affect us all day, every day. And it's kind of, it's like you've got to be constantly on guard for not getting caught up in those beliefs, those little storms in teacups that we have. Yeah. Just looking at the chat here. No, Mickey, you're not blocked. John Wick and a pencil. I was a weapon, right? Oh yeah, you've always got an interesting way of putting things. Yeah. So I just saw that because I was just on the phone with my mum in the UK today, in England today, and of course, yeah, just all the bad news, the main topics that are in the news and just being blasted all the time. I said, just turn it off. Don't get distracted by that, because yeah, it's a big show, isn't it? But yeah, and so yeah, I just kind of, that's really on my mind. Really, that's the that's our biggest problem, whether people realize the Earth isn't a globe. There's so much beyond that in terms of just kind of finding our own paths, I suppose. That's what it's all about, isn't it? Yeah. JBO. Boomy, the propaganda doesn't stop. Yeah, absolutely. It doesn't, does it? It's relentless. Absolutely relentless. Yeah. And it's great if you're able to talk about it with your wife as well. That's obviously therapeutic. But yeah, the whole the lying thing. Yeah. Because it is. I mean, it is like a jungle, isn't it? I mean, if any animal in the jungle has to be aware of all the other predators around it, and we kind of live in this existence where we don't think that we're going to encounter predators. Of course, for the most part, we can wander through the jungle fairly safely, but you've still got to have your wits about you. But there will always be predators out there, right? It's just a fact of life. So it's kind of, I suppose we're shocked if we're brought up in a kind of cotton-wooled world when we come across liars and deceivers. Yeah. But again, a lot of the time that it's subconscious. It takes part of this journey. The reason the part of any journey a truth seeker on is, of course, questioning themselves and where we got our beliefs from. But you got to get to that stage, and we know that for a lot of people they don't want to. They're not ready, and because there's going to be discomfort when again, suffering from the belief of how you're going to lose something if you stop believing in the things we were taught to believe. Yeah, it all perpetuates itself. This worry. Yeah, we're natural worriers, aren't we? And that's the human condition compared to animals, really. Animals seem to accept their lot in life a lot easier than humans will, because we'll be preoccupied with worry. Boomy saying the cognitive dissonance among people seems to be at peak levels, still believing rockets can land backwards, CGO space. Did you see the SpaceX testing of spacesuits? It reminded me of you ran out of space there. Famous, NASA. Yeah, weird. It's funny. It's funny how they are just, it seems like they're making fun. It's kind of deliberate, isn't it? Yeah. And yeah. So we're free to laugh at it. Yeah. And yeah, it's kind of, you get to that point, don't you, that you realize that they're never going to ever do anything that would ever prove that the Earth is a globe. Just it's quite comical. Yeah, it's comical what they're what they're putting out there. So it's like, yeah, it's telling us, isn't it? It's telling us. Yeah. But yeah, let them do it. Let them play their games. You know. And of course, you've got to think about, you know, the ownership of that. Certain investors, it's not all owned by one person. So there's no one person in control of what's being put out there or what's being done. Interesting. I was looking at. I've covered it before, I think, but something about diving with these free divers. Yeah. So you've got water which gets increasingly dense as a layer, and then you have the air above that which gets increasingly dense down here. Right. We're in a dense part of the air, and I suppose if you drop down into a canyon, then the air in that canyon would be denser, maybe. So you have this gradient, right, in the water and in the air. It's just obviously different mediums. But a free diver will go down, I can't remember how much it is, but let's say they go down, if they go down to, I can't remember, maybe it's around 25 or 50 meters. To start with, they have to go down, they have to push themselves down, they have to pull themselves along a rope to go down, right? Because they're fighting the buoyancy. And then several meters down, there's a point where, okay, they're just at this kind of equilibrium and they can kind of float. And then they go down a little bit further, and then they start getting pulled or pushed or squeezed down. Yeah. So, you know, you've got these gravitational effects going on in water, for example. So the diver, you know, so if you just transpose that to the air, you know, if we're in this lower, denser part of the atmosphere, you know, the air layer, then maybe, you know, just like the diver, at a certain density of air, you're going to get kind of pulled down to the denser area. But then maybe there is, above where it gets less dense or whatever's happening, maybe it's this upward buoyancy, just like in the water. So maybe that is how and why you can have objects going around, orbiting, if they're lightweight, in whatever vortex is going on up there. Yeah. You know, if you just take the physics of water and apply it to the air, maybe that's what happens once you get to a certain height. Maybe things do just become more buoyant, and you do end up being free of that kind of, to me it's more like a squeeze. Yeah. So I still wonder about what, you know, we know that if you go into the water, then the pressure is on you, but then obviously there's a point where that pressure is a downward pressure. Yeah. Okay. So, you know, because we're, you know, maybe whatever kind of density volume ratio is going on between us and the medium. Yeah. But of course it, you know, we know that there's more pressure as you get lower. So maybe that's, I mean, I just think about that as, you know, is there, of course we don't really feel it, we're not aware of it, but we know that we need all this air pressure around us to not kind of balloon out and explode. Yeah. Our bodies are in tune with the air pressure that surrounds, and of course that goes up very, very high. But I wonder if there's a point where it stops squeezing down and it starts squeezing up. If you kind of imagine this kind of hourglass arrangement of pressure, as it were. Yeah. And Bumi asks if I'm not in the Earth moving upwards camp. Um, I just see it as one of many possibilities. I'm open to it. I'm not that fussed at how it all works. In that respect, uh, in a way, kind of being desperate to find that out I feel that's a kind of form of suffering, because it all works fine, and I think enjoying the ride is also good. It should be done rather than worrying about how, because that is an eternal question. It's like we don't know the origins or anything like that. There is a limit to our understanding, and it's great to find out more. But yeah, as far as I'm concerned, that's the thing, isn't it? You realize that you can see things in many, many different ways. And okay, that's possible, and that's possible, and that's okay. You're not attached to any particular belief, yeah? So, yeah, it's like, okay, yeah, all right, it could be like that. The only thing I don't see is that, there's no separation, or what do you call it? When things are going at a steady speed, yeah? There's no, what's the word? That layering doesn't occur of liquids and gases, going at a constant speed. So, yeah, if going at a constant speed doesn't create this whatever you're calling it, disequilibrium, the layering or the change in the switching of the air and the gas, if that doesn't happen going at a constant speed, then I don't see that can be attributed to the layering that we're experiencing on the Earth, albeit perpendicular to that horizontal. Yeah, if you're going along in the car with a glass of water and you're going at a steady speed, the water's not being pushed in one way against the glass. The air bubbles and stuff will still come up like normal. Yeah. So it's not until you accelerate and change, speed, or go round and round in circles, that you get this kind of, separation in the direction of the whatever, the spin or the acceleration. Yeah. So, okay, all right. So yeah, but so the in my mind, the two scenarios don't fit together. Yeah. Yes, we can create this layering with acceleration. It could be in a circle or just constant acceleration, theoretically. But to then say that the Earth is moving at a constant rate, a constant velocity, means there's no change of direction and there's no change of speed, then I don't see that in the real world creates any layering of density. Yeah, if so only acceleration does that. Moving at a constant speed doesn't do that. So I don't get where you can say that there's evidence that the Earth is moving at a constant rate. Because if anything, we're seeing the effects of acceleration, constant acceleration. But are we really? Is there not another way to do that? So I'm open to anything. I just don't understand that correlation there, to say the Earth's moving at a constant speed, but what we see can only be recreated with acceleration. So yeah, it's like, yeah, I mean, it's fine. It's like, okay, yeah, it's nice to explore that, but yeah, all right, boom. I'm not really kind of caught up in, okay, it's like, okay, that could be, and it could be that, and all right, cool. If it ever turns out that way, fine, but that doesn't make me, have a belief in it that, that's it for me. It's like, okay, it's an idea, it's a concept that has whatever, and you can talk about it, but I can't know anything beyond that, really. Yeah. So, bit of a dead end. Sorry, I'm just going back through the chat, so I've been monologuing there. Okay. Flat Infinite Plane Earth says, anyone here know of any other good Flat Earth channels to sub to just want to build more diversity? I don't care for the Freemason channels. Math Powerland's been putting out some more videos recently, if, you know, you're into him. Tony Dixon, astronauts, nautical and space ships. Yeah, that's yes, very true. It's all in water. Yes, yeah. Beyond belief. Hello. The pressure gradient you experience has orientation, Nick, which you don't have on a stationary Earth. Well, to me, again, beyond belief. Hi, thanks for coming in. Yeah, I don't. This is it. I'm not in any camp. So, to kind of say it's a, again, that's creating a false dichotomy, I think, to be honest. If you don't believe in the Earth moving, then you only believe in a stationary Earth and you're stuck on that. And it's like, well, no, I mean, I don't want to get stuck on any belief. Yeah. So, again, as I said, it's not about, pitching stationary Earth against moving Earth for me. It's more about if we're going to talk about what is demonstrable reality, then, as I said, we can demonstrate the effects of acceleration and maybe think of ways that that could be happening for the Earth to do that. But, to say it's moving at a constant rate doesn't fit with the physics that we see and experience around us. So then you get into having to jump out of this reference frame and into other reference frames, which we did with the globe anyway. That's just what we, that's what we were taught to do with our globe belief is, okay, jump out of this reference frame and then imagine yourself in this one and the Earth's doing that, but you're not experiencing it that way. It's just, it's all relative. Yeah. I mean, even scientists can freely, physicists will freely accept and discuss the fact that if you throw a ball or you jump off a platform onto the floor, it doesn't matter which way round you look at it, whether you're falling to the floor or the floor is rising up to you. The physicist can discuss this pragmatically and say, well, yeah, basically the maths works out whichever way you want to interpret it. And in that sense, they're free from the belief that it's happening in either way. They're just saying, well, it could be this or it could be that. And yeah, you can go off in your worlds of equations and assumptions and reference frames to believe that it can fit in a certain way, but we don't know that. Yeah, we just don't know, and it's fine. That's what's awe-inspiring about science or astronomy or whatever, all these things, because it's this, it's something that we can look at, and we can, there are always going to be other interpretations that you can create. There's never, maybe that's the thing about science, is that no matter how scientific you get, you are, you could just be this hard, die-hard kind of stalwart of a scientist. You're not going to let your human observation or subjective human position influence the whole thing, but ultimately you don't get real answers to what this place is and why it's here, and then you still, the scientist eventually discovers God, because they have to realize that there's intelligent design in everything, in absolutely all of this. Yeah, it's an intelligent creation. All the flora and fauna, it's all in the biodiversity. It's all it magically works together. It's the symbiotic relationships everything has. It's intelligence beyond our own limited intelligence, knowledge, and wisdom. Yeah. So, you know, there has to come a point where you just have to, you know, it doesn't matter how far you look down the microscope or how far you look into space, all you're going to get as an answer is that, wow, this place is intelligently designed. And then, you know, the possibilities are endless. You know, what answers are you ever going to achieve? So then it's time to sit back, I think, and enjoy the train ride. Yeah? Enjoy the scenery. Enjoy the people around you, the other passengers on the journey. Yeah? So I hope that explains my position there, beyond belief. And Al? Again, you know, beyond belief, I don't, you see, you're firing these questions, it's like, why do you expect to feel a change in direction? Well, I'm not expecting to feel a change in direction, yeah? I mean, you would on a globe. This was the whole thing with the globe. It's like, well, the globe's supposed to be spinning and you're going around and it's all thousands of miles an hour. And then you look at reality and it's like, well, no, we are not spinning. We are not moving in circles. That's for sure. Again, you could, you know, just as you can be on a train and everything is moving along, you know, the water in the cup, nothing's happening to the water in the cup when it's moving along at a constant. So yes, you can, you know, the globies come up with this argument that, well, you know, things don't change if you're on a moving train. Well, no, there's no acceleration either way, but, you know, and then you say, well, that's not really a good analogy for your globe because the globe is supposed to be angular. That is acceleration because that's a constant change in velocity, isn't it? If you're going around in a circle or if you're following an orbital path or whatever, yeah? So that that could and should be felt. But yes, you can argue that if something's moving along at a constant speed or not, we don't feel any difference. There's no difference there. So, you know, just in the same way that we get, you know, the cup on the train, the water in the cup on the train isn't being pressed to either side. It's just sitting there. Well, that shows us that a constant speed doesn't create any pressure or whatever you're calling it. You know, it's not causing the water to go to one side and the air to go to the other in the direction of the travel, is it? Constant speed doesn't do that. So effectively, you know, going at a constant speed is the same as being weightless. But of course, on the Earth, whatever, in this, wherever we are now, yes, the water fills the cup. Does that mean we're stationary or moving? Well, it could be one or the other, but we're not accelerating, yeah? But then, you know, so we're not seeing the effects of acceleration that would, you know, like the layers of water and air horizontally, which you could talk about in terms of acceleration, because that's the physics that creates those layers, yeah? So I don't expect to feel change. I mean, but why should I? I mean, I don't understand the question there. You see, you kind of got into this, it seems like there's a bit of a kind of, you know, I don't know. Hello, Andrew. Nachikata. We know we are not spinning and rotating, revolving, etc. We know that's all nonsense, but why is the water in the cup level? So I don't know, you know, but it has to be this way, right? I mean, this is where we are. This is where we find ourselves. As I said, yes, you can recreate these effects with acceleration, but not constant movement. But I don't know. I mean, is it pressure? Like I was saying, is it the air pressure? as I was talking about to start with. Yeah, is that what's causing it? What's causing the pressure? I don't know. What created this place? You know, is it we're in some kind of big piston thing or something? Who knows? Who knows? I mean, it's yeah. You know, our ability to look at it in all these different ways is great. It's fantastic. Yeah, and that's fine. That's kind of, you know, we can philosophize about that. Yeah. So Nachikata says, we are stationary in the sense we are all in the reference frame, but we are moving upwards at a constant speed because we have because we have constant weight and buoyancy is due to this motor. Well, I don't agree necessarily with that, because, you know, if you talk about moving things along at a constant speed, as I've already said, that doesn't create the effects that acceleration do. But also, if you're saying that the only reason for us having weight is because we're being pushed, well, the thing is, if you push something up to a constant speed, then there's no more pressure, there's no more weight. Again, just as we accelerate the cup sideways, or whatever way you want to do it, you create that, you know, whatever you call it, disequilibrium, or the separation. But once you reach a constant speed, that all settles down, and so you are in effect then weightless. So, you know, if basically, okay, if you want to assume that the Earth is moving up to create weight, okay, but then we all end up moving at the same speed, well, that's, you know, if you're moving at the same speed, you would feel weightless. But then, for example, I hold this cup up. Well, why does the cup have weight? Because now I've brought it up to speed. You know, so actually, I don't see that it should still have weight in my hand, because I might have pulled it off the floor and maybe struggled to get it up here, but now it's up to speed. So it shouldn't have that same weight that I felt down there when I was pulling it up, yeah? In this scenario, yeah? This is so these are the things, there are these points, there are about these 2 or 3 points that they don't fit with how I perceive any difference between stationary and constant movement and acceleration, yeah? 3 different things, but they, you know, constant velocity and stationary are effectively the same. So if something's falling through the air, well, yeah, it doesn't really have weight. So what? You know, it's weightless. Again, the scientists don't deny this. You know, things free fall. But it, you know, that could be going at a constant speed. So once things have reached a constant speed, then they just kind of, you know, there is no separation anymore. Yeah. So that's what's demonstrable. So, you know, you have to make these leaps. You have to again get out of your reference frame and perceive it in a certain way. Oh, it's moving up, and therefore I see it, you know, okay, I can get that. You can perceive that. It's not a problem. But then, you know, to then go and interpret the physical phenomenon we do or don't experience as being only because of that, still, you know, you're still coming from a kind of single-minded point of view, which is outside of this reference frame, and making an assumption. Just as the, you know, so we you know, we can justify our beliefs or theories with all sorts of explanations, and, you know, and again, I see that as fine. It's fine to explore that and say, okay, if it was like this, it could be like that, but it's all a bunch of ifs. Yeah. Earth, ship bear. Nick, by what force are you pushing down on a scale? I've no idea. It could be air pressure, okay? It could be, who knows? I don't know. Yeah? Like I said, it makes sense. That's why, you know, the scientists or the measurements, they talk about acceleration, because they understand this. You know, they understand that once you're in contact with the Earth, that measurement feels like acceleration, because when something's falling, it's like there is no acceleration. Yeah, it's like that's how it is. Okay, but again, we are attempting to interpret non-motion. Yeah, it just kind of, it just gets convoluted. Yeah, so I don't know. Yeah, that's the thing. I'm not claiming to know. Yeah, so it's not, to me, again, it's not about this. This is quite important, really, isn't it? We're suffering from this argument about beliefs because, okay, I can see it from this point of view, but you can't. So you're stupid. Well, no. It's like we understand that this is kind of like, that's what we've been through, that, evaluated our beliefs, and then, yeah, it's tempting to come to an alternative conclusion, because that's, again, we're just going back into that, being drawn back into that. Yeah. It's honestly not a big deal how it works to me, because there's a lot more magic going on in our daily lives, yeah, with our interactions, with the things that are happening on this journey, whether we're moving or not. Yeah, we are on a journey. Yeah, and that's where I'm placing my importance. Yeah, because it's, but again, that's different strokes for different folks, right? If you want to explore an avenue, that's your thing. That becomes your speciality. Cool. That's what this is all about. The diversity of different ideas and people going on different paths. But you've got, I'm sure all of us have got these people that we've listened to or talked to and kind of maybe mentored, and think, okay, but then other things come into your experience, and you think, okay, well, all right, what he said, that's cool, I go with that. Again, I don't feel a need to kind of label people because they have take up a certain position or something. It's like, well, okay, it's one. Everyone's got different ideas. You don't have to accept, all of them, and that's what we do. We've all taken bits of what we, okay, I agree with that, but I don't agree with that, and that's fine. We're all, that's it. It doesn't need to be a kind of, and go beyond that in my mind. Yeah. Flat infinite plane Earth is the only way the entire past can make sense, and with that thought we can make assumptions of our future. I'm not sure what that response is to. Okay. I'm trying to get through these now. Nachikata. It's not a big deal to put gravity and incoherent. What's that? Dialectic, acceleration and relative density disequilibrium to bed, yeah? Do you believe that there is a downward acceleration? Okay, again, I don't try not to believe in anything. This is the whole point of this, trying not to be attached to beliefs. Yeah, people want you to, do you believe? It's like, no, just, yeah. It's like, yeah, okay, that could be possible. This could be possible. Yeah. Oh no, again, Earthship Bear, there is no downward acceleration in freefall. Yes, I agree. I don't think this is it. I don't know where this has come from. I don't, so what? Yeah, when something is free falling, it's kind of weightless, and it's the same as moving at a constant speed. Yeah? So yeah, okay, you can jump out of the reference frame and you can imagine you're on a lift going up and they drop the ball and that doesn't seem to appear to go down to you from your perspective. Fine, get it. But again, this is, have a look at the Red Bull, this guy on a BMX going on these ramps as this train goes along, yeah? So they've got this long train of carriages with all these different BMX ramps on it. So this guy on a BMX is, the footage is from a drone or something, and so that it's at a crossroads. So The guy's pedaling and he's doing the ramps and he's doing the loops as the train passes underneath him, but he's kind of there, you know. So you look at that and you can think about all the different reference frames going on there. The reference frame from the drone, the reference frame from the guy on the bike. You know, he's still doing exactly what you would do whether you're moving or stationary. He's going up the ramps and he's getting air and he's going down, he's doing the somersaults, yeah? But the train's moving, he's moving, but the reference frame is stationary, yeah? And he ends up coming off the train and plonking himself down in the same spot. Yeah? So you can, this is it, you can see that from all these different points of view, and imagine that different things are moving, and it doesn't matter. So okay, there is this kind of sense of relativity. That's what's cool about physics, is there is this kind of relativity to it. So again, it doesn't, you know, you can just, it doesn't change anything going into a different reference frame or imaginary one. You know, it's still the scenario is still open to what is moving and what isn't moving, yeah? So you can just kind of keep on imagining that till the cows come home, yeah? But but that's the whole thing, you know. For me, this whole journey of discovery is like realizing that, well, wow, that's the whole thing, you know. You look at the stars and you look at this and you look at that, and it's totally open to interpretation. And of course, humanity has been trying to do that for forever, just trying to interpret and make sense of where we are. And of course, that is one of our major preoccupations, yeah? But it's also, you know, what does, and that's the thing, all these different scenarios and work out, so we can, you know, as with the globe, the Copernican model or geocent, whatever, yeah? All these different models, they're not, we're seeing the same thing happening in the sky or around us, yeah? And then just interpreting that in all manner of different ways, yeah? So to me, it's like, well, okay, we cannot really know. It's a humbling experience, back down to earth. Okay, let's now go inward more. You know, so to me, I can't see that we find the answers looking out necessarily, apart from the experiences we have, and then internalizing them. Yeah, so it becomes an inner journey, yeah? And so, yeah, it's just that realization that it's totally open to interpretation. Everything is. But isn't that what we realized when we kind of broke free from the whole globe belief, is that, wow, we were, you know, we believed something because we were told to perceive it in a certain way and imagine certain physics that go with it. And okay, you hear people say, well, it makes logical sense. Well, yeah, it does, in the background and the scenario that we've been given, planets orbiting a sun, solar systems and gravity and all that jazz, yeah? Well, I personally, you know, once you're free from that, yeah, like I said, there is a desire to have an alternative. There's a demand as well to have an alternative. So what's your alternative? How does it work then? What's up and down? What's gravity? Well, that's it. We don't know. I don't know. And that's fine. That's fine. Yeah. We don't have to suffer with a desire to know something, or even, you know, impress upon other people this realization that we've had, yeah? It's all down to the individual. Yeah. Worship bear. Oh dear. See, it's just one man and his detector. Yeah. Again, Earthship, I am not claiming anything. Just because I disagree with the relationships that have been made between, you know, reference frames and falling and things like that, and it doesn't mean I get, you know, no. It doesn't mean I'm making a claim, a counterclaim. Yeah? You're allowed your claim, and other people are allowed their claim. Yeah? It's it. It's fine with me. Yeah, I do not see the need to be attacking each other on these issues, really. Yeah. So yeah, there's no denial, because I can't prove anything, can I? No one can prove anything. Yeah. So yeah. No one's denying the existence of the potential, yeah, or the possibilities. Like, yeah, fine, you know. Yes, beyond belief, it's what demonstrable that matters. You're absolutely right, but we cannot demonstrate it. You cannot demonstrate moving at a constant speed as being responsible for creating weight. You cannot demonstrate that if something's moving at that's it. It's not demonstrable. It's perceivable, but all these experiments where there's a change in, the liquid or the air or the helium balloons and this and that, yeah, fine, that happens because of acceleration, and that's, there's a change, yeah, and off it goes, yeah. But then there's a point where things reach a constant speed. Yeah. So none of these kind of, dropping things or moving things along really proves anything, because if you're talking ultimately, if you're saying, if the claim is that the Earth is moving at a constant rate, well, what experiment can we do on Earth to show something moving at a constant rate and experiencing these layers of density in the direction of the thing. Yeah. Yeah, it's just like, no biggie, man. You're here to call everyone out. We will see who knows what they're talking about or not. Get dug in like a tick with the stationary FE. That is. Yeah. Well, again, there's. Why all this kind of finger pointing and labeling at people who are, again, just because someone doesn't agree with the entire scenario of a moving Earth, it doesn't mean that they are some kind of, silly, unthinking, stationary Earther. Yeah, that again, that's just boom, boom. There's creating this dichotomy. Yeah. INFE, roll a tire downhill, it rolls down faster and faster, going up at the same time. Fail. Yeah, I'm not sure what your point is there. Are you saying that rolling it downhill means that it's being pushed because the Earth is moving up, or it just does that anyway? Gains momentum. Yeah. So yeah, that things have inertia, things gain momentum. So this is what I'm not. It's not sitting comfortably with me. Yeah. Things gain momentum, and then because they've gained momentum, then they don't have that kind of weight attribute in the same way, right? Yeah. Again, if you're if everything's moving up and I've grabbed my cup, I brought it up to the same momentum as me now on this upward rising Earth. So really it should kind of hang there. It shouldn't have weight. Yeah? Because we've overcome that. We're now going at the same speed, right? So again, whether we're weightless or going at the same speed, the effects should be the same. But again, I can't demonstrate that because we're in this environment with gravity. Yeah? So off we go into our reference frame worlds and stuff. And where does it get you? Sorry. I'm just... what's that? Sergei? In order to feel constant falling, the Earth should be constantly accelerating. The other option is no movement and other reason of it. Okay. Beyond belief, yes, I'm experiencing weight, but as I said, weight isn't created by something moving at a constant velocity. If there's no change in direction and there's no acceleration, so there's no change in speed, then there is no weight. Yeah? So this is, yes, I'm experiencing weight. There's pressure on me or whatever. Yeah? Somehow. Yeah? Which we can achieve through acceleration. And that could be a circular movement. Yeah? You know, just like they do in the movies with the spaceship. I mean, that kind of makes sense as a way to create gravity, artificial gravity, yeah? Have this space station spinning so that you're stuck to the wall of it and you're walking around in it, you know, just like in 2001 Space Odyssey. That, you know, because that's acceleration, yeah? Isn't it? It's constantly changing velocity and you know, because it's changing direction, yeah? So that's acceleration, yeah? But to me, you know, the linear kind of acceleration, linear speed argument doesn't work for me in the same way that it doesn't work as an argument for the globe, because things moving at a constant speed have nothing influencing them. Yeah. So yeah, you know, Earthship Bear. I mean, I don't know why you kind of like saying stuff like that. Denial is, yeah. It's just flat infinite plane Earth. We need some wrenches in here to stop these sci-fi Dan characters. Oh, beyond belief. Okay, so you said it could well be on a rotational arm. The effects would be the same. Right, okay, because that's acceleration. So either way, we experience upward motion relative to us. Well, if that rotational arm thing, that's not upward. That does create the down, yeah? So if you see it from a certain reference frame, you can talk about upward motion and things decelerating, but again, doesn't fit with what we truly experience. It's just, to me, it's an imaginary scenario. Yeah. One man and his detector. Just like the flat Earth became bigger and bigger, so is this, because just like the Earth not being a ball is a no-brainer, so is the Earth rising. Well, yeah, it's... Yeah, but where did we... Yeah. Yeah, okay, all right, so that kind of looks like it for the chat. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, that's all. I mean, you know, like I said, we can these scenarios are all potentially, you know, whatever. And you know, it works the way it works somehow. But it is, you know, I can also accept that it's beyond our comprehension. You look at we couldn't think of these things, you know, the way life interacts, you know, the what's the word, symbiotic relationships, yeah, animals have, and all that stuff, the way our bodies just get on with it and they heal ourselves and they grow and things like that. It's amazing. Yeah, there's this intelligence going on that we don't tell our bodies to grow. It's not us, it's something else. Yeah. All right, just as plants and all these other things, and just like the sun and the moon and the stars, they've got their jobs to do. They are just doing their thing. Yeah. So you know, we don't really understand, you know, even our bodies, I mean, and our growth and what's good for us and what's bad for us. I mean, look at the debates surrounding that. Look at how people are trying to convince us what we should or shouldn't be putting in our bodies, or all these things. Yeah. it's it's an ongoing voyage of discovery. Yeah. Beyond Belief says, don't appeal to futility. We have the facilities to inquire. Yes, we do. Yeah, but that's the thing. To me, again, the truth for me is that we cannot know. Yeah, and so there has to be a point where, to avoid suffering from being a victim of beliefs and accusing others of being victims of their beliefs, it's just like, okay, that's how it is. It can be interpreted in all sorts of different ways beyond our limited knowledge and understanding. Yeah? And that's fine, because there's so much else. There's so much more magic going on right here and now. Yeah? Yeah? So that's it. It's not futility at all. I think it's futile to demand that people accept your point of view because you see it this way, and you demand that they follow this pattern of thinking and say, right, because of this, because of that, it must be this. Yeah? I think it's fine. It's fine to think like that and have, okay, right, we can, yeah, fine. I don't see that it needs to be something that needs to be then forced. So yeah, you're still seeking truth, and that's ongoing. Because, as I said, right at the start of this, you've got all these things going on, all these distractions from the news and the media and stuff, and they are distracting us from, or just from that kind of the truth of now, right here and now. Yeah, that's the only truth we ever have. Yeah, and the truth is we suffer if we start kind of like trying to control the narrative, or we try to, it's more a case of learning to let go. Yeah, and accepting the evils. We were talking about the liars earlier on, right? So it's like, well, yeah, you can't deny that liars exist, or predators exist. Yeah, you can't deny that. You can live in denial, and then you will eventually become a victim if you don't look out, right? So it's like, yeah, to be kind of, that's the whole thing. Just be free of the attachment to beliefs, yeah, and then that, to me, brings about less suffering. Yeah. Hello, the Jolly Man. Thank you. So Andrew's yeah, so you kind of, Beyond Belief, Andrew and No Donk Records kind of saying something else that, okay, Beyond Belief, I can't be bothered. I've tried to explain that my approach to it is very purely pragmatic. Yeah, it's like, yeah, we can. You're welcome to it. You're welcome to that belief. Nothing against you. Yeah, but I'm open to all the myriad of possibilities, and I'm not really that fussed about what it is now. I'm not consumed with the desire to know that, because there's other stuff to focus on. All right then, yeah. Well, I wasn't going to talk about all that, but okay, it came up. You came in, you had a go, and I've explained. What we're talking about isn't demonstrable, and we can demonstrate things and make all sorts of interpretations. Yeah, but we can't know for sure. Yes, I've seen the demonstrations, Andrew. Yeah, and like I said, it's all, yeah. There's a difference between acceleration, constant speed, and there's no difference between constant speed and no speed. Yeah. So that's it. Yeah. So constant speed means weight less. So only acceleration creates that weight, yeah, or even the, yeah. I've kind of said this several times, yeah. It's like that's it, Yeah. But one man and his detect. What you talk. What is demonstrable? What are you saying is demonstrable? Can you demonstrate this, these layers of density, like the liquid, the water, or the gases, whatever? So what we have, these layers horizontally, can you demonstrate that moving at a constant speed? No, you can't. You don't get that effect when you're moving at a constant speed. So it's like, so why would you assume that the Earth is moving at a constant speed if we cannot demonstrate that happening when you move something at a constant speed? Yeah. Or if you interpret falling as deceleration, well, that's because you've taken a different frame of reference from outside, yeah? Okay, get it, understandable, But again, if you're saying something is up to speed with you, that you've picked up, then it shouldn't have any more weight. It shouldn't, okay, it might fall, it might drop, it might whatever, but so, do not think that I assume everything accelerates to the ground. No. It would appear to change direction, yes, because so that's an acceleration, right? But yes, it moves towards the ground just in the same way as something that is moving at a constant speed. There is no acceleration going on. I don't think anyone really, this is it, when something in free fall, don't think anyone's actually, whatever they believe, I don't think anyone's saying that it's accelerating. Yes, once it's on the ground, the way of measuring weight is to say that it's accelerating. That's just how they do the mathematical equations, yeah? So, there's no, again, there's no denying here at all what's actually happening in the real world. The way things, move or don't move, yeah? It's like, but, so I don't get why this is such a thing. So one man says, then what would it take to create mass to gain in weight constantly? Well, I don't know what you mean. We don't gain weight constantly. Oh, yeah, one man, yes. If something's moving from stationary to any speed, it has to accelerate. Well, yeah. Again, whatever you want to describe it as, it's changing direction, yeah? But I've kind of like said it like several times, what the three different things, that don't sit, that aren't demonstrable to assume we're on an upward moving Earth, yeah? So, yeah. Constant motion doesn't create weight, basically. That's it. So, in my mind, that scenario just doesn't work based on demonstrable reality. Yeah. So, yeah, it's just like, yeah. But again, I don't, I wouldn't, that doesn't mean I don't allow the possibility of the Earth to be something that's moving. Yeah. Fine. Could be. Yeah. I just don't agree with the kind of like the descriptions or assumptions that have been put with the physics that we see, or the demonstrations that have been done, because demonstrations of acceleration show this change in layering. So yes, if you're going to assume that movement of the Earth causes the layering we see on Earth, then it has to be acceleration if that's what you're demonstrating. But constant speed doesn't create weight. It's the same as being weightless. Yeah. Yes, I've had a discussion with Del about this, Andrew. It's one of my previous live videos. So Del came on and we had a good chat about it, and I was trying to explain this position. Maybe I don't know how clear I was, but yeah. So yeah, it was, it went on for quite a while. So the Jolly Man says the Earth isn't moving anywhere up, down, or elliptical circular motion in constant motion, or through an ever-expanding universe. Yeah. Well, yeah, this is the thing. I mean, you might label it stationary, right? Because we cannot detect any movement, all right? We don't, just as we can't measure any spin of the globe Earth, we can't actually measure any actual movement of the Earth itself, yeah? If that's what, yeah? So it's like, so yeah, for all intents and purposes it's stationary, yeah, and because we cannot measure it otherwise. So that, as far as I'm concerned, that's it. It's like, yeah, you can, it's all down to interpretation otherwise. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, it's again, it's all up to you guys. You can kind of like, yeah, explore all the possibilities. Yeah. So again, Andrew, so what's the cause of why objects seem to fall, Nick? I do not know. I do not know how we got here. I do not know why we are here. Yeah, I don't know. I do not know what this place is, how it was created. I do know that it was intelligently designed, and it's beyond our understanding. And I am absolutely happy with that. Yeah, I do not intend to take up any kind of position of claiming to know what it is, or what stationary is, or what movement is, and all this stuff, and my interpretation of, people talk about simulations, people talk about this and that. It's like, yeah, whatever. It's all a big merry-go-round, yeah? And, yeah. I don't know, and that's okay. I'm very comfortable with that, and that's fine. Yeah, I think. Isn't that's the most liberating position to be in, I feel, to be free of that desire or suffering, to kind of feel that you have to, yeah. Yeah, the Joyman says that because it's not there, one has to employ relativity, and we know what that is, right? Yeah, okay. So yeah, Nachiketa says we can detect movement through the experiment done to show the lack of acceleration downwards. Again, doesn't mean anything. Yeah, it's all open to interpretation, because yes, correct, there isn't acceleration. Well, there is at first, but it equals out, and there is weightlessness, or it's like the same as moving at a constant rate. There's already two options there in that one fact. that you drop something and there is no acceleration. Absolutely, totally agree. Yeah, you got to understand, guys. Yeah, do not disagree with that. Yeah, it's like great. I think it was great that Dell and Andrew and what have you explored that and verified that. I think it's cool. Yes, that's great to see. Yeah, when you drop something, it suddenly becomes weightless. Yeah. All right. So it's the same as not moving, and it's the same as moving at a constant velocity, weightless. Yeah. Hence, when you talk about holding something up, and it being, and you're assuming that the whole reference frame is moving at a constant speed, then you have brought this thing up to speed, so it shouldn't have any weight, because if everything's moving at the same, yeah, sure, things have inertia, yeah, and then you get it up to speed, like we're talking about the rolling tire or whatever it is, they stop becoming heavy. Yeah, so it doesn't, this whole scenario of the earth moving up to give us weight doesn't make sense to me. Not because I can't imagine a scenario of being outside of it and it, it's moving up and things fall, but they don't, from our point of view, get that. But excuse me, because we cannot demonstrate the claim. The claim can't be demonstrated. Yeah. Or measured. It's all indirect measurements. It's the same. You drop something and they say, oh, that's the earth pulling it towards it. Okay, you can imagine it. Or you can say the earth is rising up to it. Okay, same thing. The maths is the same, doesn't change. You are free to interpret that any way you like. Yeah? And that's the beauty of this. Yeah, it's totally open to interpretation. Just as your life here is totally open to interpretation. Subjectively, you can do whatever the hell you want in your life, yeah? Things will happen as a result of the things you do. And the possibilities are endless, yeah? So, you can look at the way the way karma works, yeah? There's you do an action, there's going to be a reaction, but the thing is, because it's because of the infinite possibilities, the reactions, the reactions you get from people are never what you really expect, because we've had this belief in our head or mind about how someone will react, yeah? You see it all the time. You imagine that someone's going to react in a certain way, and then they don't, and it catches you off guard because, yeah, you weren't imagining that they would think that way. Oxbow Spirit says observation alone is not an experiment. Okay. The Jolly Man, detecting movement by lack of downward acceleration in a bottle where differential compression of two mediums attempting to achieve free fall. Okay, bit of a mouthful there, but... Yeah, so, Nachikata, when you drop a bottle of water, half full of water, why doesn't the water and the air displace when you move it side to side? Oh dear. Again, Nachikata. Yes, if you swiftly move the coffee cup, the water slops, the water displaces with the air. Yes, that's acceleration. Yeah? Fine. No argument there. When it's moving constant rate, yeah, there is no displacement. Yeah? Okay? So the same as when you drop something. You drop a bottle of water and air. No displacement means what? It could mean it's stationary, and it could mean it's moving at a constant velocity. There's no difference, yeah? And there's no claim here that it's accelerating. No one's claiming that, as far as I understand. Only once it hits the ground and it has weight is it considered acceleration, just because that's how a way to measure it, yeah? So to me, that isn't a clue. This isn't a clue. When you drop a bottle of water and it demonstrates the same properties of something either being weightless, not moving, or moving at a constant speed, then it doesn't prove anything either way. It just says, okay, it's doing one of those things, or maybe a mixture of both, yeah? It's not accelerating, fine, but it still doesn't mean that it's not moving, because if it wasn't moving, that means it would have been brought up to speed and it would be weightless in the first place, but it's not, yeah? This isn't weightless when you hold it up, right? So when you let go, and you're saying the earth catches up with it, or it's decelerating, well, that's just a perception. And Andrew says, why is the bubble flat on the bottom when attached to the reference frame, but a perfect sphere in free fall? Well, you know, pressure. You think about bubbles in water, it's actually, the water is pressurizing. A bubble forms because of the pressure of the water around it. Yeah? So sure, yeah? You sometimes got to look at these things like, you know, for example, we talk about light rays. Well, actually, the reason we see light rays is because actually we see shadow, but we always consider it as a light ray rather than a shadow blocking the light. Yeah. So again, you know, bubbles in water. Yeah, or even us in the air, or us in the water. Sometimes we get squeezed up, sometimes we get squeezed down, yeah, by the medium around us, yeah. So one man is to Nick putting if it is or isn't aside, what are your thoughts on if it is moving up? What bigger questions would you have about it? Once again, I don't see that it is moving up. This is it. I don't see that it, I don't see, this is it. I don't see a correlation with real physics. To say the Earth is moving up at a constant speed doesn't fit with anything that we can demonstrate. We can't create weight by moving something at a constant speed. So why assume that that gives us weight or separates these layers or whatever, you know. Something moving at a constant speed doesn't do that. So why make the analogy? Beyond belief again, you know, you're claiming, or whoever's claiming, you know, that something is in free fall, it's still moving upwards, but you're saying it's decelerating. You're saying it's decelerating. Okay, fine. You know, I still say it could be one or the other. Yeah, I'm still totally open. You know, this is it. It's not a foregone conclusion. Yeah, but you've decided to go with that option because you've imagined it from an external reference frame. Beyond belief, put a swimming pool in a free fall and instantly that pressure vanishes. What, you mean the pressure in the water? No, it still has it's still a body of water, isn't it? Yeah. That's the thing. Again, it is interesting that you can. I did that thing with the fish. There was the experiment where I spun a fish tank around with the fish in it, and it's like, yeah, it's kind of weird that you can create that acceleration. So the acceleration's creating the curve on the water. It's obviously centrifugal force, so it's going outwards, you know. And the fish don't seem to know any different. They are not pulled to. They're in the medium of water, so the water is being pulled to the sides or pushed to the sides, whatever you want to describe it as, by the centrifugal force in this spinning tank, right? So the water is being displaced like that, but the fish within the water aren't being pushed to the outside. So it's interesting because whatever is going on outside of the reference frame to create the physics or the gravity or whatever in the reference frame doesn't make any difference to the fish in the water. Yeah. So again, I just find it like, okay, wow, that's wow for me. That's like, it's totally open to interpretation. It can totally be stationary, or it can totally be with some kind of gravitational force. Yeah, a force, yes, movement, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, But, you know, just because you can create something one way doesn't mean it can't be created in another way. So I've just got to turn this fan on, yeah? You know, pressure could be just from whatever, you know? Yes, some kind of container. Yeah. Of course, we know that that's, you know, physically, we understand that we have to be in some kind of contained environment. Do we know what it is? Do we know what this container is? No, we have not a clue. We ever going to find out? Probably not. Yeah? Yeah. So yeah, this is it. You can argue about what bubbles are doing or not doing until the cows come home. Yeah? Really. It doesn't... What's that? The jolly man today sustained an injury while not being connected to the correct reference frame. The earth accelerates upward to all my... yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so, you know, this is it, yeah, slinkies, ping pong balls and stuff like that. Again, it's like in water or liquids. I get it, you know, I get it. But these things where you're kind of accelerating things and making the you know, the air and the liquid change places or mass, it's like, well, yeah, there's the inertia to start with. You're accelerating it. So yeah, these are all demonstrations of acceleration. So this is again what it's like, okay, cool, demonstrating acceleration, but then you're equating it, but then saying the earth is moving at a constant rate, not accelerating. And then you're saying people claim that things accelerate towards the earth. Well, not really. So I don't get what it's like. This argument is just like, it's kind of, it's weird. Yeah. Oh yes, I know. It tells me everything I need to know, Earthship Bear. So as I say, constant movement doesn't create displacement. Yeah. Constant movement, no displacement. That's what's physically demonstrable. Yeah. Or no movement, no displacement. That's demonstrable. Yeah. Acceleration creates this, what's the word? This separation, yeah? That's it. So that's what we can demonstrate. Well, again, you say when there's already a force present. Well, yeah, well, where, again, yeah, force, pressure, where's it coming from? Top down, bottom up, side? Dunno. Is it, you know, is it the earth pulling us or is it the air pushing us? Dunno. It's all the same. The measurements that we make, this is the thing with science. We were bamboozled, yeah, into believing that being able to measure something falling or the rate it, you know, it's just like that's gone back to the when, you know, they're working out that 9.8 meters per second squared is whatever, yeah, the rate that something hits the ground, yeah, and then making all these scenarios from it. That's what got us stuck on a globe in the first place, yeah? So, huh? So, you know, no one's making any claim. Again, you got to stop. Stop telling me I'm making claims when I just observe reality and say, yeah, it could be this or could be that. That's not a claim, all right? And just because it doesn't agree with the idea you've got based on a certain perspective doesn't mean I'm making a counterclaim either, yeah? So frankly,
fuck off with all your accusations and your cult-like behavior. Yeah? I'm quite happy to discuss these things, yeah, but not with people that are talking like religious zealots and telling me I'm making claims just because I don't agree with you. No, I'm not. All right? Oxbow spirit. So a bird floating in the air is falling upwards, with the ground falling upwards. Seriously. Yeah. Kind of, yeah. All right. Anyway, it's quite late in the morning, actually. The bird's going to be up soon. But I had a very long nap today. Yeah. So, all right. I hope that's put things into perspective. And yeah, again, it's all about getting free of these beliefs. Yeah. And yeah, that's the path I'm on. Oh dear, beyond belief. You're making a claim. You're saying you need downwards acceleration on the stationary Earth. No, I don't. No, I don't. Things fall, and they fall like things that are falling at a constant rate. They're moving at a constant speed. That's how things fall. Yeah. So I'm fine with that. You know, it doesn't just because. I am not making up any. I'm not claiming that the Earth is stationary by making an observation. I'm not claiming that it's moving. Yeah, I'm not claiming anything. All right, and I don't need anything to say that's my proof. I do not. Yeah, you got it all wrong, mate. Okay, you're just attacking people that don't, you know, and you call yourself beyond belief. Yeah. Well, you've just adopted a belief and you're trying to force it on other people. Yeah. All I'm doing is saying I'm open to all possibilities, and that should be fine with you. You shouldn't be trying to ram it down my throat. Yeah. Or trying to make out that, you know, I'm making claims when I'm not. Stop it. It's stupid. Get off your high horses. Chill out. All right. Yeah, so, okay, I'm going to leave it there. And again, I welcome these discussions. Absolutely fine. No problem. Yeah? Stop making accusations. Yeah, based on your belief. Yeah? All right. Adios. See you later. Sawadee Cup and all that. Thanks for tuning in. And we'll catch up very soon. Book is on the way sometime. Cheers.